Hello everyone! This is Saurian Target welcoming you back to another very special video where I'm going to be drawing some more hypothetical designs for what some DLC dinosaurs for Carnivores HD could have looked like if they ever made it into the game. Last time in this series, we conceptualized what the Pachycephalosaurus, Velociraptor, Oviraptor, and Spinosaurus could have looked like if they got added to Carnivores HD through DLC. With the first three dinosaurs based on some older artwork from the artist who actually designed the Carnivores HD dinosaurs, link to my interview with them in the description below, and the Spino just being my own personal take on what it might have looked like in the HD style. And today we are continuing this trend with 4 more classic Carnivores creatures that will more or less complete the legacy roster in the HD style. Sorry, Dimorphodon. Now initially I did this whole hypothetical what if series because I just think it's a fun exercise, and I still do. But now that the Carnivores reboots are back in the spotlight again with the recent release of Dinosaur Hunt, maybe these designs can actually serve as inspiration or concept art for some new DLC dinosaurs that I know we're all hoping to see added to the game later in the future. Wink wink, nudge nudge, digital dreams please. Alright, so without further ado, let's design some more hypothetical Carnivores HD dinosaurs, starting with Brachiosaurus. Now, unlike the rest of the animals we'll be designing today, the Brachiosaurus was confirmed to be in some of the more major, concrete development stages of Carnivores HD, according to the artist who designed all the dinosaurs for the game. A large sauropod representing what I'm guessing is Brachiosaurus does appear on the HD cover art banner, so I wanted to take that as a base to work off of, since it's the closest thing I've got to an official HD Brachie concept, even though it's just the neck and the head. Being such a gigantic, majestic herbivore, I wanted to keep the Brachie very earthy in tone. Soft yellows and browns and grays, hopefully looking very natural without looking too boring. Unfortunately, there's no pre-established HD era sauropod to reference, so I was pretty much on my own for building the body structure. However, I feel like a lot of Walking with Dinosaurs depictions line up pretty well with the established HD style, so I looked to the Walking with Dinosaurs Brachie for reference. A curved neck with a hunched back, a low hanging but not dragging tail, and some sturdy pillar-like legs anchored by elephantine feet, all structured just a bit more delicately than Jurassic Park's. I tried to replicate some sense of the OG Carnivores 2 Brachie's mahogany spots that run down the neck, as well as include the Walking with Dinosaurs depiction's black head patterning, but all in all, it's a fairly typical Brachiosaurus, but that's kinda what I felt would best fit Carnivores HD. These sauropods were reportedly going to serve as giant ambient animals, kinda like they were in the original games, although I imagine they wouldn't be limited to just the water this time. I can easily picture these Brachii suited best for life in the Great Forest, their long necks, legs, and overall color scheme blending in with the rocky spires and the evergreen trees, almost becoming a part of the landscape themselves. You guys actually get 2 for the price of 1 with the Dimetrodon today. The first design I worked on I wasn't very happy with and ended up replacing in the final version, but I decided to keep it in the video so you guys can follow my thought process. You'll have to let me know which one you guys like better. I knew I wanted this HD Dimetrodon to retain some aspects of the original Carnivores 2 version, which I knew was going to be difficult because the Carnivores 2 Dimetrodon is basically an Edaphosaurus. So I finally decided that I was going to bring its reddish color scheme forward, to give it a stark, vicious appearance. Most Dimetrodon depictions from this time, at least the ones I've noticed, are usually brown, gray, or green, so I thought a reddish one would help mix it up a bit. As I worked on this first Dimetrodon draft, it just got too grungy for my taste. I wanted the red to be subtle, but it mostly just turned out gray anyway. All of the individual little details kinda overshadowed the overall design, and I started losing faith in how well I could pull off the giant monster eye and teeth intimidation pattern. I did finish this design, but the more I looked at it, the less happy I was with it, so I decided to start over. I still wanted to keep the Dimetrodon mostly reddish in coloration, but make it less grungy and a little more bright and colorful. For the pattern, I looked back to my HD Spino depiction and gave the Dimetrodon more of that jagged zigzag pattern instead. I thought maybe it could have some kind of venomous bite, so I gave it some brighter bands of yellow, orange, and white to naturally signify danger. As you can probably tell, the overall body shape is heavily influenced by the Walking with Monsters Dimetrodon. There are no pre-established HD-era synapsids that I could look to for inspiration, and the Walking with Monsters design just perfectly encapsulates the more predatory look I wanted this Dimetrodon to have compared to the Carnivores 2 one. Good old Moshops. Carnivores introduced me to this guy, and it was such a shame that it didn't show up in the HD reboot. But hopefully, that will eventually be fixed. The Moshops is an iconic part of the franchise, and I didn't want to stray too far from that original design with this one. Plus, like with the Dimetrodon, there are no HD-era Therapsids that I could turn to for reference, so I was kind of on my own again. I tried to pull some mid-2000s Moshops designs for inspiration, with one in particular by Steve Kirk from the early 2000s that's always been just one of my absolute favorite depictions, and which served as the basis for this design's body structure. Color-wise, I knew I wanted to keep that classic yellow and green. I imagined this little lard waddling around in groups on the peaceful green and yellow Delphius Hills, perfectly camouflaged from the bigger predators that would just love to gobble him up. I also wanted to make sure he was extra pudgy and wrinkly, and I gave him the dopey eyes that the other HD ambient animals have, as well as his classic buck-toothed chisel-like teeth. Despite having basically nothing to work off of and having to come up with a non-dinosaur HD standard all on my own, I didn't think the Moshops was too difficult to pull off, especially compared to the Dimetrodon, and I'm pretty happy with how this big boy turned out. Those of you who have been around the channel for a while know that my favorite real-life dinosaur is Allosaurus, if that wasn't already evident by the channel logo. So believe me when I say, I felt the pressure to get my favorite dinosaur depicted appropriately in the HD style. There are a lot of different ways I could have gone with this Allosaurus design. Walking with Dinosaurs, Jurassic World, the Lost World miniseries, not to mention any number of paleo art pieces. But I knew I wanted my take on an HD Allosaurus to be different. No pun intended. I actually based the head design off of a sketch Fred the Dinosaur Man did of a Jurassic World Allosaurus toy, which I thought was just a super unique take and didn't really match any other Allosaurus design that I knew of, while still remaining recognizable as the namesake dinosaur. For body structure, a lot of Allosaurus depictions that I see make the dinosaur very lean and thin, almost like a snake, with overly defined muscles. I'm thinking specifically of Papo and Jurassic World. And I knew I didn't want to do that with this design. The HD-era theropods have a more natural look to them. Smaller torsos with larger hip regions that do taper back down with thick, rounded tails. They've got some girth, but also some finesse, and I wanted to follow that basic body plan with this Allosaurus. Pattern-wise, I wanted something bold and striking to match the Ceratosaurus's vibrant tiger stripes. So I looked to big cats and settled on a strong jaguar pattern, with gold and purple coloration because I'm just so incredibly full of myself. Honestly, if this design ever did actually make it into the game, I'd be fine to change the spot colors to brown and the eye crest to red. But for the sake of this video, I wanted a cheeky self-insert. I love that the HD Tyrannosaurus's feet look like they're clad in armor plating, so I wanted to mimic that for this Allo as well. Overall, this is probably my favorite HD designed dinosaur of the bunch, which I think is a good thing too, considering it is my favorite dinosaur. Now I just wish I could hunt one in Dinosaur Hunt. Alright, there you go guys. These are my takes on what these creatures could have looked like if they made it into Carnivores HD, and maybe what they can look like if they make it into Dinosaur Hunt through DLC. As always, I thought this project was a lot of fun, and since you guys seem to enjoy these dinosaur drawing videos, I'll see if I can come up with some more HD era designs for other dinosaurs that we all wish could be added to the game. But which of these creatures is your favorite? Or what would you have done differently when designing them? And what other dinosaurs or prehistoric creatures would you like to see added to Carnivores Dinosaur Hunt in the future? Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks as always for watching guys, you are all truly the best, and I will see you guys next time.